Good evening, everybody. I'm Fictional Crystals, and the Paladins are going home. After 6 seasons, the Paladins are finally going to be returning to planet Earth. We've been waiting ages for this to happen. There will probably be a road trip in the Lions to get there since the castle is sadly gone, meaning we'll get some fun adventures along the way, hopefully. They're going to make a new Castle of Lions. In order to do that, the castle will need a new crystal, and to get a new crystal, they have to go back to the Balmira, unless they somehow use the crystal the castle left. The Balmira, and Shay especially, will be nice to see, and once they get home, they can finally reunite with their families, as it has been confirmed they will by Jeremy Shader, Lance's voice actor. And Jeremy hasn't lied yet. Lance gets to see his family again. Crowley and Keith will probably visit Keith's dad's grave. I would love to know his name. Seriously, they gave Pidge's mother a name even though she's had no lines. Yet Keith's dad, even though he had a fairly major role, does not have a name yet. If Sam Holt made it back to Earth okay, after some checking from the Garrison, he should have been able to give the Paladins' families their messages they recorded. Unless the Garrison decide to keep him under their control like they did when Shiro came crashing down in episode 1. On Earth, if things went accordingly, Sam and the Garrison will have started creating weapons to protect Earth and fight the GALRA with. Sam has Altan tech with him and the knowledge of how to build some Altan machines that don't require alchemy.
Start working to upgrade our planetary defenses.
There's only one place that has the plans necessary to build a replacement for the Castle of Lions. Kuron gave them to my dad.
And the Garrison already have some GALRA tech with them. When Shiro crashed down from space in episode 1, he came in a GALRA escape pod with half of an old GALRA sentry. The Garrison took the pod with the sentry away, and they have definitely been examining it since then. They have a basic understanding of what they're dealing with. When the Paladins return home, they're likely to be greeted by some new tech for Earth. Perhaps they'll fit Shiro with a new Altan prosthetic arm to replace his old one, and maybe Vehicle Voltron from 80s Voltron will make a comeback. Voltron Legendary Defender is a reboot of an 80s show called Voltron Defender of the Universe. Recently, Rommel and Bandor from 80s Voltron returned.
We'll name him Yorak.
Yorak! You're a born loser!
Yorak? Yes, Yorak has led our forces into many sorry defeats.
Vehicle Voltron in some older Voltron versions was created by the Galaxy Garrison and had 15 pilots. In the Devil's Due comics, the Garrison purposely made it mirror Lion Voltron, but it wasn't as powerful since it lacked the mystical side Lion Voltron had. Pidge's brother was actually one of its pilots, and he's in the current version of Voltron, although his name changed. I don't see why Vehicle Voltron can't return in some form like Rommel and Bandor did, even if it's just a reference or as a failed attempt at a weapon for Earth. The Garrison quickly wrote off the failure of the Kerberos mission as a pilot era, and they pronounced Matt, Sam, and Shiro dead, when obviously we know that is not what happened. They went with the evidence they had and didn't look further into it. When Shiro came crashing down, they immediately strapped him to a table and didn't let him speak. The Garrison have evidence of the GALRA and Altans, enough to realize that aliens are out there. Maybe they even had an idea about aliens before Shiro came crashing down. Surely some scanners picked up these giant unidentified objects outside of Earth's atmosphere. Episode 1 of the show wasn't the first time aliens have been to Earth.
Can I interest you in the latest Earth fashions?
What if they did have an idea of what really happened to the Kerberos mission, but were covering up the existence of aliens? They might not realize how big of a threat the GALRA are, either because they haven't looked further into it or they're trying to cover something up. When the Paladins return to Earth, they could run into issues because of this. The Garrison wanting to quarantine them, possibly even try to confiscate the Lions. In older Voltron versions, the Galaxy Garrison kind of backseat drove Team Voltron. They set rules for them, sometimes they got in their way.
Now that I'm here, that won't be necessary. I'll use military strategy.
On occasions, the Galaxy Garrison made Team Voltron's job harder. Iverson will be stunned to find out who the Universe's defenders are if he doesn't already know from Sam.
What did you say?
He'll not trust that these are the Universe's defenders at first, and won't understand how big of a threat the GALRA are if these are the people who have been fighting them. But that will change when the inevitable happens. The GALRA and Honerva's attack on Earth. What's the best way for Earth to know what's at stake and who's been defending them? What's the best way for the people of Earth to understand that there are undeniably aliens? For the threat to come right to them. This gives them a chance to see Voltron in action and test out those weapons they hopefully have been making. If they haven't made what they need to, this attack attack certainly will get them to start. Honerva and the Galra know where the Paladins originate from. In the first episode, a Galra ship approached Earth in search of the Blue Lion. The Blue Lion zoomed past the Galra with the Paladins, thus diverting the Galra from Earth. After that, the Paladins made it to Eris, and the Galra followed them there. Where they have gone, their enemies have always followed. They knew the risk of returning to Earth in the past.
Maybe Sendak will follow us and leave this planet alone like when we left Earth.
Sendak could destroy the planet, then come after us anyway.
The Galra were their sworn enemies. They had no known Galra allies at that time. They didn't know the Blade of Remora were helping them, nor that Keith is part Galra. But now they do know about the Blade of Remora and have them on their side. And parts of the Galra Empire are allies as well. Right now, they have a sense of security and peace. They think it's safe enough to return to Earth. Although that's going to change. I'm sure the Blades will still be helping their side out. The issue is the other parts of the Empire who were previously helping them. While yes, some of them will still side with Voltron since Voltron helped them, and maybe they even agree with some of the things they say. The generals may be going to Team Voltron now since they betrayed Lotor and Honerva and they're kind of on lots of people's death lists. Many of the others that were previously on Voltron's side was because of Emperor Lotor. Lotor turned on Team Voltron, or rather Team Voltron turned on him. Lotor went mad and died in the rift, or so we think he did. There are many ways he can return. Factions of the Galra Empire followed Lotor, and since Lotor was on Team Voltron's side, these factions of Galra were okay with Team Voltron. Since Lotor is gone now, and it's partially thanks to Team Voltron, these factions of Galra might end up going against Team Voltron, along with other factions that already hate them. The Galra need a new leader, and that'll likely be Sendak, the Galra who was the closest to getting the title during the last Krell's era, and the Galra with the most Galra on his side. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I think Crowley should be the Galra Empress. Anyway, Team Voltron may think they're safe now, but their alliance is crumbling. Sendak is ambitious. He'd absolutely chase Team Voltron back to Earth. He knows their weakness. They value the lives of others.
I know your true weakness, that you value the lives of others.
Especially their families. And most of their families are on Earth. Honerva isn't gone either. She's been spying on Team Voltron through Kuron for months. She knows about the Altan colony, she knows about the Paladins' families, and that they're from Earth. The colony and Earth she'll both be wreaking havoc on. There may be some foreshadowing for an eventual Earth attack. For instance, the episode Monsters and Mana, which I made a whole video about. Then there is the vision Keith saw in the Blade of Remora. It hinted at some future things for him, such as Crowley being alive, and him being able to find out everything after their reunion.
Your mother is almost here. She'll tell you everything.
Outside the shack in his vision were the Galra attacking Earth. Now the sense of chaos might be alluding to Keith's dad's death, as it is implied he died in a fire. He was a firefighter. Or the scene could foreshadow the Galra attacking Earth while the Paladins are visiting their families. I mentioned earlier that Voltron Legendary Defender takes plots from older Voltron versions. They use a lot more old plots than you think. Everything from Shiro's death to Honerva's different forms were in older versions of Voltron, just with slight changes. In Defender of the Universe, Lance's home was destroyed.
Then Zarkon came and destroyed our homes.
Lance's home now is Earth. Pidge's home in Defender of the Universe was called Planet Bolto. Bolto was blown out of existence. Team Voltron wanted to save it, but they couldn't.
Wasting a whole world!
Wish I could have seen my backyard once more.
Pidge's home planet now is Earth 2. Defender of the Universe is simply an edited, censored, and dubbed over version of the anime's Beast King GoLion and Armored Fleet Dialog 15. Legendary Defender has taken plot points from GoLion along with Defender of the Universe. For example, Lotor being half Altean. In GoLion, Earth legitimately was destroyed. Like, they actually had an episode called Goodbye Earth. What was Planet Bolto in Defender of the Universe was Planet Earth in GoLion. Earth was the home of all of them. They were sent out into space, but they returned. When they returned, they found their home destroyed. In GoLion, it was because of a nuclear war that happened while they were in space. Considering the amount of plotlines taken from older Voltron versions, the Paladin's home in Legendary Defender is in serious trouble. Recently, Voltron released a vlog for Shiro. Really, it was Kuron though. This was before he lost his arm again, his hair changed white, and the castle was destroyed. So we know this is clone Shiro speaking. At the end of his vlog, he said something very ominous.
I will do whatever it takes to make sure they get back to Earth safely.
Whatever it takes.
This vlog takes place sometime between seasons 5 and 6, when Honerva was beginning to gain serious control over him. The way he said he'll get them back to Earth whatever it takes, and taking into account how he was under Honerva's influence during this, it truly does sound like Honerva's going to make it to Earth. Maybe she'll get there before Team Voltron does. She has wormholes, they don't right now. Earth could be a trap for them. In Defender of the Universe, Haggar created many traps and used many tricks on Team Voltron.
Haggar created a mock ship with robot lookalikes of the Ambassador and his crew.
In GoLion, the GALRA had been monitoring Earth. They captured war survivors. Lauren and Joachim, the show's co-executive producers, said that they're not going to end up on Earth immediately, if at all. The if at all part may be teasing that something happened to Earth. The only issue is, the stuff Jeremy said kind of contradicts the stuff Lauren and Joachim said. And Lauren and Joachim are known to lie about things to throw fans off, and to not spoil future plots. So it's tough to say if we should take the stuff they say here seriously or not. Either way, whether Honerva gets there before the Paladins and Legendary Defender, or if the Paladins get to reunite with their families first before the Earth attack, Earth is in danger. The Paladins are in for a big fight, and it's personal this time. Allura won't let the Paladins' home be destroyed like hers was. Certainly not by the GALRA and Honerva again. Remember, Legendary Defender does take elements from its predecessors, but there are usually twists on these old plotlines. What happens to Earth in Legendary Defender won't be exactly the same as what happens in older Voltron versions. The Earth being permanently destroyed in Legendary Defender may be a little too dark, although the show has gone to quite dark places and I love it. I love angst. No, seriously, the darker episodes are my absolute favorites. But if Earth does get destroyed in Legendary Defender, there should be ways to bring it back. Or at the very least, save its inhabitants. Earth will be under attack, though I'm not too worried about it in the long run. We will still be getting family reunions and a new Castle of Lions. Let's just see how well Earth's defenses hold up.
I'm just worried we won't have enough time and resources to make a dent before we need it.
But anyway, thanks for watching, and hasta la later, Keith.
We're going home.